In today's fast-paced world, where the pressure to succeed is relentless, many find themselves grappling with a ceaseless inner critic. But what if the ancient wisdom of Stoicism held the key to silencing that voice? Consider this powerful thought from Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This profound insight challenges us to focus inward and recognize the strength we possess over our thoughts and perceptions. So, why do we often allow self-doubt and criticism to dominate our self-esteem? In this video, we'll delve into Stoic principles that teach us to cultivate inner resilience, quieten the negative chatter, and bolster our self-worth. Join us as we explore timeless techniques for embracing a more empowered and peaceful self-image. We all experience moments of self-doubt. In fact, it's a nearly universal human condition. This inner voice, often referred to as the inner critic, can be relentless, whispering, or sometimes shouting words of inadequacy and self-judgment. It tells us we're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy of success. This constant barrage can have a significant impact on our self-esteem, shaping our self-perception and how we interact with the world. But where does this critic come from, and how can we address it? The Stoic philosophers offer profound insights into understanding and managing this inner dialogue. At its core, the inner critic is a manifestation of our perception, how we interpret events, feedback, and our own actions. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, teaches us that it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This suggests that the power of the inner critic lies not in the events themselves, but in the narrative we build around them. To better understand this, consider a modern-day scenario: social media. Platforms like Instagram and Facebook present a curated view of others' lives, often showcasing only the highlights. When we compare ourselves to these seemingly perfect lives, our inner critic may start to question our worth, whispering that we're not keeping up or not achieving enough. The constant bombardment of perfect images can amplify self-doubt, making it a fertile ground for the inner critic to thrive. However, by applying Stoic principles, we can begin to dismantle these negative perceptions. Stoicism teaches us to separate what is within our control from what is not. While we cannot control the actions of others or the content they choose to share, we can control how we perceive and react to these stimuli. This requires a shift in mindset, moving from automatic self-judgment to conscious self-awareness. Imagine scrolling through social media and instead of thinking, "I'm not as successful as them," you consciously remind yourself, "Their success doesn't diminish my worth." By reframing these thoughts, we gradually silence the inner critic and bolster our self-esteem. Let's take inspiration from another Stoic figure, Seneca, who reminds us that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This highlights the role of our mind in creating unnecessary distress through the lens we choose to view our experiences. Practical steps like mindfulness and journaling can aid in this process, helping us to become more aware of our inner dialogue and challenge the critical voices when they arise. Think of it this way: if your best friend came to you feeling down, you'd likely offer kind and supportive words. Yet, we often struggle to extend this same kindness to ourselves. Through consistent practice, you can learn to become the compassionate voice you offer to others, applying Stoic wisdom to be a friend to yourself. By understanding and redefining our relationship with the inner critic through Stoic philosophy, we reclaim control over our inner world. We learn that while the inner critic may always be a part of us, it doesn't have to dictate our self-worth or our path forward. Instead, let it be a reminder of the need for self-awareness and the constant work of aligning our perceptions with the empowering truth of our unique value. Imagine a bustling city in ancient Rome where Marcus Aurelius, one of the most revered emperors and Stoic philosophers, would often retreat into the quiet of his thoughts, penning reflections that have endured through the ages. Among his profound insights is the concept of cognitive detachment, a practice that remains relevant today for those struggling with negative self-talk. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." This quote captures the essence of cognitive detachment, urging us to recognize the distinction between objective reality and our subjective interpretations. In Stoic philosophy, this separation is crucial as it allows us to see things as they are, rather than through the distorting lens of our emotions. Cognitive detachment involves stepping back from our immediate emotional responses and examining them from a distance. It's about acknowledging that our feelings, while very real, are not always rooted in reality. This practice helps prevent our inner critic from taking charge, allowing us to respond to situations with reason rather than reflexive self-criticism. Consider an example. You receive feedback at work that's less than glowing. Your initial response might be to feel inadequate or upset. But practicing cognitive detachment means pausing to separate the factual feedback from your emotional reaction. Ask yourself, what are the facts here? You might realize that the feedback is merely constructive, with opportunities for improvement rather than an indictment of your overall abilities. To embrace this practice, begin by observing your thoughts without judgment. When you notice negative self-talk, take a moment to question it. Are these thoughts based on facts or are they emotional reactions? By framing your thoughts this way, you create a space to challenge and ultimately change the narrative your inner critic perpetuates. Another practical method is journaling. Spend a few minutes each day writing down moments where you felt your inner critic rear its head. Describe the situation, your immediate emotional reaction, and then attempt to separate these from the objective facts. Over time, this habit can train your mind to instinctively detach and view experiences more objectively. Reflect on this for a moment. How often do you let emotions dictate how you view yourself? This is an important question because it highlights a common human tendency to equate worth with transient emotional states. By practicing cognitive detachment, you reclaim power over these fleeting feelings, preventing them from clouding your self-perception. Cognitive detachment is like training a muscle. It requires practice and patience. Initially, it may feel challenging to distance yourself from immediate emotions. However, as you persist, you'll find it becomes second nature, allowing you to live with greater clarity and confidence. As we draw on the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, we remember that even amidst the chaos of life, there is a place of calm within us. By cultivating this calm, we not only silence our inner critic, but also build a more resilient and authentic self-esteem, grounded in the truth of who we truly are, not merely how we feel in fleeting moments. Embrace cognitive detachment as a shield and let it guide you towards a more empowered way of living. How do you usually handle setbacks in your life? This question might bring to mind instances where your inner critic was quick to highlight your perceived failures or shortcomings. Yet, there is a trait that Stoicism champions which can transform these setbacks into stepping stones: resilience. Resilience in Stoicism is not merely about toughness. It's about cultivating an inner fortitude that allows you to face challenges without letting them diminish your self-worth. Resilience is central to Stoicism. It's the ability to withstand difficulties and emerge stronger. The Stoics believed that hardships are not only inevitable but also valuable opportunities for growth. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." This quote underscores the power of adversity to build our character and mental strength. In the face of challenges, Stoicism teaches us to view these moments not as insurmountable obstacles, but as occasions to exercise and enhance our inner resilience. Let's consider a common scenario: career setbacks. Perhaps you've experienced a job loss or a failed project. In such moments, it's easy for the inner critic to amplify feelings of inadequacy, casting doubt on your capabilities and worth. However, by embracing resilience, you can reinterpret these events. Instead of viewing a job loss as a failure, see it as a chance to realign with your true passions or as a moment of pause to develop new skills. Resilience allows you to approach challenges with a mindset focused on growth rather than defeat. Think back to a time when you faced a significant challenge. Perhaps it was a difficult professional setback, a personal disappointment, or an unexpected life change. What was your initial reaction? Did self-doubt creep in, or did you find a way to navigate through it with resilience? Reflect on how you managed to rise above that situation. These reflections are crucial because they remind you of your capacity for resilience, proof that you have faced adversity before and can do so again. To cultivate resilience, start by acknowledging your emotions and the situation at hand. Stoicism doesn't require you to ignore your feelings, but rather encourages you to understand them as part of the human experience. Next, detach from the outcome and focus on what is within your control, your effort, attitude, and perspective. By doing this, you reduce the power of external events and the inner critic, placing your focus on intrinsic growth. Moreover, practice gratitude. It may seem counterintuitive in the face of adversity, but gratitude helps shift your focus from what's lacking to what you have gained even in challenging times. This perspective not only bolsters resilience but also enriches your overall well-being. Finally, use these principles as daily reminders. Like any skill, resilience grows stronger with practice. Each time you face a setback, apply these Stoic principles and witness your ability to bounce back grow stronger over time. So, the next time you encounter a setback, remember the teachings of Seneca and the Stoics. Embrace the moment as an opportunity to cultivate resilience. By doing so, you not only quiet the inner critic, but also empower yourself to build an unwavering foundation of self-esteem rooted in strength and perseverance. Resilience is your shield against doubt and your path to a more empowered self, ready to tackle whatever life throws your way. At the heart of personal growth lies a principle that can transform the way we see ourselves and others: acceptance. In Stoic philosophy, acceptance is not just a passive acquiescence but an active, intentional embrace of our flaws and limitations. This concept holds immense power because by accepting who we are, we liberate ourselves from the constant cycle of self-criticism and pave the way for self-compassion. In Stoicism, acceptance is about recognizing what is beyond our control and choosing peace over resistance. Epictetus, a renowned Stoic philosopher, famously said, "It is not the things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about these things." He emphasizes that our disturbances often stem not from external events but from our internal opposition to them. When applied to self-acceptance, this means acknowledging our imperfections and embracing them as part of the human experience. Self-acceptance in Stoicism plays a pivotal role in cultivating self-compassion. While self-compassion involves treating oneself with kindness during times of failure or imperfection, acceptance lays the groundwork for this by allowing us to see ourselves without harsh judgment. It invites us to let go of the unrealistic standards we may have set for ourselves and to accept that flaws do not define us but are merely aspects of our larger, complex selves. Consider the idea of accepting past mistakes. Many of us carry the weight of past errors like heavy luggage, revisiting them with regret and self-reproach. However, Stoicism teaches us that to err is human and mistakes are valuable teachers. Instead of dwelling on these missteps, we can accept them as part of our journey, extracting lessons rather than guilt. For example, someone who has made a financial mistake might initially feel regret, but through acceptance, they can view the experience as a stepping stone towards greater financial literacy and decision-making skills. Imagine standing in front of a mirror looking at your reflection. Do you see a person filled with potential and unique qualities, or do you focus on perceived imperfections? How you answer this question may reveal your level of self-acceptance. By shifting the focus from self-criticism to acceptance, you allow yourself to see the full spectrum of who you are with all your strengths and weaknesses. To practice acceptance, start by observing your self-talk. When you notice negative thoughts about your imperfections, pause and reflect. Are these thoughts serving you, or are they reinforcing a cycle of self-doubt? Remind yourself of Epictetus's wisdom. The real challenge lies not in changing the unchangeable, but in changing our perceptions about it. Engage in reflective practices like journaling or meditation to gain clarity on what you struggle to accept about yourself. Write down the traits or past actions you find hard to embrace, and for each one, list the lessons or strengths that have emerged as a result. This exercise helps build a bridge between acceptance and self-compassion, fostering growth and understanding. In the end, acceptance is a powerful tool for building a more resilient self-esteem. By embracing our flaws, we step out of the shadows of our inner critic and into the light of self-understanding and compassion. As we continue our journey, let us remember that acceptance is not about complacency, but about acknowledging our full selves and finding strength in our vulnerability. Through acceptance, we not only silence the inner critic, but also cultivate a nurturing environment for growth and empowerment. How often have you found yourself worrying about things beyond your control? Perhaps you've spent sleepless nights pondering over a colleague's opinion, or maybe you've been anxious about changes in the economy. It's a common struggle, but according to Stoic philosophy, there's a more peaceful path forward, one that involves focusing solely on what you can control. But what exactly does this mean, and how can it help silence your inner critic? The ancient Stoics made a clear distinction between what is within our control and what is not. In their view, the key to inner peace and resilience is to focus our energy and attention on the former. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, succinctly put it, "We cannot control the world. We can only control our reactions to it." This idea encourages us to relinquish the futile effort of trying to manage everything around us and instead concentrate on our thoughts, attitudes, and actions. Let's break this down with a relatable example. Imagine receiving a piece of criticism at work. Your inner critic might immediately leap into action, questioning your abilities or worth. However, Stoicism teaches us to pause and ask, what here is within my control? The words and opinions of others are outside your sphere of influence. What you can control, however, is your response. You can choose to see the criticism as a chance for growth rather than a personal attack. By doing so, you take the reins, directing your energy into constructive self-improvement rather than destructive self-doubt. Another practical application can be found in dealing with daily stressors. Picture yourself stuck in traffic, watching the minutes tick by as you worry about being late. The traffic itself, governed by external factors, is uncontrollable. Yet, your reaction to it is completely within your control. By choosing to remain calm and perhaps using the time to listen to an informative podcast or practice deep breathing, you transform a potentially frustrating situation into a productive one. This mindset can quiet the inner critic, as it prevents you from spiraling into frustration or self-recrimination over circumstances you cannot change. Reflect for a moment on your current situation. What are some elements that feel overwhelming or unmanageable? Now, consider which aspects of these challenges are within your control. Is it your effort at work, the way you communicate with others, or perhaps how you care for your mental and physical well-being? Focusing on these controllable aspects can shift your perspective, reducing the power of your inner critic and enhancing your sense of agency. To embody this Stoic principle, try journaling about situations where you feel your inner critic is most active. identify what you can and cannot control. Make a conscious effort to let go of the latter and channel your energy into what you can influence. Over time, this practice can develop into a habit, empowering you to navigate life's uncertainties with more confidence and less self-doubt. In essence, focusing on what you can control is a liberating practice. It enables you to break free from the chains of worry and self-criticism, fostering a mindset of empowerment and peace. By adopting this Stoic approach, you transform how you interact with the world and quiet your inner critic, revealing the path to greater self-esteem and inner tranquility. As you continue your journey, remember the wisdom of the Stoics. True power lies not in controlling the world but in mastering your own mind. Have you ever wondered what it means to truly embrace your fate? The idea might seem daunting at first, especially when life throws unexpected challenges your way. However, embracing your fate can be one of the most liberating and empowering choices you make. This concept is beautifully encapsulated in the Stoic philosophy of amor fati, which translates to love of fate. But what does it really mean to love one's fate, and how can it lead to greater self-acceptance? The Stoic idea of amor fati encourages us not only to accept life as it comes, but to embrace every event, good or bad, as an integral part of our personal journey. It's about finding gratitude in every experience, knowing that they contribute to our growth and character. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, captured this sentiment when he wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." This philosophy invites us to view our circumstances not as burdens but as opportunities to develop resilience and wisdom. It suggests that every path, no matter how unexpected or challenging, harbors lessons waiting to be uncovered. Consider a modern-day example of a career path that didn't pan out as planned. Imagine spending years studying for a particular profession, only to find that the job market has shifted, leaving you at a crossroads. Initially, this can feel disheartening, like a door has been shut. However, through the lens of amor fati, this moment becomes an opportunity to explore new passions and directions. Take the story of Steve Jobs, who was famously ousted from Apple, the very company he co-founded. Rather than succumbing to despair, Jobs embraced his fate and viewed it as a chance to innovate anew. His journey led to the creation of new ventures and ultimately, his return to Apple, where he would steer the company to unprecedented success. This example illustrates how adopting amor fati can transform setbacks into setups for future triumphs. As you reflect on your own life, consider the paths you've traveled. Are there moments you resisted where fate was leading you? How might embracing amor fati and accepting these events with an open heart change your perspective? Perhaps there's a career move that didn't work out or a relationship that ended unexpectedly. By loving your fate, you shift your focus from what you've lost to what you've gained or can potentially gain. Begin practicing amor fati by acknowledging your initial reactions to unexpected events. Transition from asking, "Why is this happening to me?" to "What can I learn from this?" This mindset shift can open up new possibilities and empower you to see your life's journey in its entirety, rather than just the isolated challenges. Another practical way to cultivate amor fati is through gratitude. Each day, take a moment to reflect on the events that didn't go as planned and list what you've gained from them. This practice helps align your thinking with the Stoic principle that life's unpredictable nature is not something to be feared but loved. Incorporating amor fati into your life is about more than passive acceptance. It's about active engagement with your fate. Embrace it with passion and curiosity, and watch how it quietly transforms your self-esteem and outlook on life. By aligning with this Stoic wisdom, you not only silence the inner critic, but also cultivate a profound sense of peace and acceptance within, empowering you to face the future with confidence and grace. In an age where distractions are at every corner, the power of present moment awareness cannot be overstated. The practice of mindfulness, deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy, offers a pathway to quiet the clamorous voice of the inner critic, bringing a sense of peace and clarity. But what does mindfulness mean in the context of Stoicism, and why is it particularly relevant today? Mindfulness in Stoicism is more than just being aware. It is about cultivating a focused presence that allows us to engage with each moment fully, without being pulled away by the noise of our thoughts or the chaos around us. It is about observing without judgment, understanding without anxiety. The Stoics invite us to live with intention, to recognize each fleeting moment as a chance to align with our values and embrace reality as it unfolds. Consider the words of Marcus Aurelius, who profoundly stated, "Confine yourself to the present." This wisdom urges us to anchor ourselves in the now, where the past cannot haunt us nor the future intimidate us. It is in the present moment that the inner critic loses its grip, as we shift our focus from the endless loop of self-reproach to the tangible reality of here and now. Practicing mindfulness can begin with something as simple yet powerful as focusing on your breath. Imagine sitting quietly, taking a deep breath in and slowly exhaling. As you do, your mind might wander perhaps to a worry or a self-critical thought. Instead of following that thought, gently bring your focus back to your breath. This simple act is a practice in mindfulness. It teaches us to gently redirect our attention back to the present whenever we notice it straying, reinforcing our control over our mind. Mindfulness can also be practiced in everyday activities. Whether it's sipping your morning coffee, feeling the warmth of the cup in your hands, or listening to the birds, these moments are opportunities to practice being present. By fully engaging with these experiences, you break free from the cycle of criticism and judgment that often occupies your mind. Reflect for a moment, when was the last time you were truly present in an experience? Perhaps it was during a walk in nature where you noticed the rustle of leaves and the scent of the earth. Or maybe it was while playing a sport where you were so immersed that time seemed to stand still. These instances of mindfulness not only calm the mind but also diminish the power of the inner critic by grounding you in reality rather than imagined fears or regrets. To integrate Stoic mindfulness into your daily routine, you might start by setting aside a few minutes each day for mindful breathing or meditation. Additionally, as you move through your day, practice bringing your full attention to one task at a time. When your mind wanders, it will gently bring it back to the task at hand. This practice builds the muscle of mindfulness, making it easier over time to quiet your inner critic and maintain a peaceful state of mind. Incorporating mindfulness into your life is a journey, not a destination. It requires patience and persistence, but its benefits are profound. By embracing Stoic mindfulness, you not only quiet the inner critic, but also cultivate a deeper connection to the present moment and a more resilient, contented self. So, let's invite the wisdom of the Stoics into our lives and discover the tranquility that comes from truly being present. Have you ever paused to consider how gratitude influences your happiness? This seemingly simple practice holds profound power, particularly in the realm of Stoicism, where it serves as a striking antidote to self-critical thoughts. While many of us understand the general benefits of gratitude, the Stoics embraced it as a foundational pillar of peace and contentment. From the Stoic perspective, gratitude is not merely a passive acknowledgement of what is good in our lives. It is an active, intentional mindset that shapes how we perceive our entire existence. The Stoics taught that by appreciating what we have, we shift our focus from what is lacking. This redirection not only calms the inner critic, but also cultivates a profound sense of contentment, freeing us from the constant cycle of wanting and dissatisfaction. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, captures this wisdom succinctly when he states, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." This quote invites us to find joy in our current circumstances, recognizing that gratitude is intrinsically linked to our ability to live happily and fully. By appreciating what we have now, we diminish the power of self-criticism, which often feeds on a perception of scarcity or inadequacy. Imagine starting each day by taking a moment to reflect on what you're thankful for. This could be as simple as the comforting aroma of your morning coffee, the warmth of your bed, or a meaningful conversation with a friend. Such reflections may seem trivial, but they can have a profound impact on your mindset, steering you away from negative self-talk and towards a more positive outlook. One practical way to incorporate gratitude into your life is through journaling. At the end of each day, dedicate a few minutes to jotting down 3 things you are grateful for. These can be significant achievements or small, often overlooked joys. This practice not only reinforces positive thinking, but also trains your mind to scan for positive experiences throughout the day, slowly but surely quieting any self-critical thoughts that might arise. Consider the story of an individual who found themselves constantly battling their inner critic, feeling inadequate at work despite achieving success. Upon integrating a daily gratitude journal into their routine, they began to notice a shift. By focusing on what they did well and what they cherished in their life, their self-perception gradually transformed. The self-critical thoughts that once dominated became less frequent and less intense, replaced by a growing sense of self-worth and satisfaction. Right now, think about 3 things you're grateful for. They could be related to personal achievements, relationships, or even simple pleasures like a favorite book or song. As you list them, notice any changes in how you feel. This exercise not only anchors you in the present, but also acts as a reminder of the abundance in your life, helping to counteract the negativity that the inner critic can bring. Embracing gratitude as a Stoic practice is a journey toward appreciation and contentment. It teaches us that happiness is not a distant goal to be achieved, but a state of being we can cultivate by recognizing and cherishing what we already possess. As you weave gratitude into your daily life, let it guide you toward a quieter inner critic and a more joyful existence. Through this practice, you foster a mindset that appreciates the richness of life, empowering you to live with a fuller heart and a clearer mind. Imagine the difference between a calm, serene lake and a turbulent, storm-tossed sea. This contrast is akin to the peace achieved through self-control versus the chaos often caused by impulsive actions and reactions. In the realm of Stoicism, self-control is not only a virtue but a vital pathway to inner peace and reduced self-criticism. But how exactly does exercising self-control lead to such tranquility? The Stoics believed that self-control is fundamental to achieving a balanced and harmonious life. It allows us to regulate our responses to external events and internal urges, aligning our actions with our values rather than fleeting desires or emotions. By practicing self-control, we create a buffer against the chaos that can arise from impulsive reactions, fostering a more stable and peaceful internal state. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, offers timeless wisdom with his quote, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This statement underscores the idea that true freedom, and by extension, peace, comes from within. It is the mastery over one's desires and reactions that liberates us from the turmoil of the external world and the critical voice within. Consider a common scenario: receiving criticism, whether at work or in personal relationships. The initial impulse might be to react defensively or lash out. However, by exercising self-control, you pause and choose a more measured response. This not only prevents escalation but also cultivates a sense of inner calm and confidence. You're no longer a prisoner of your impulses but a steward of your reactions, steering them in a direction that aligns with your principles and maintains your peace of mind. Another everyday example is managing cravings, whether for food, shopping, or screen time. Resisting these immediate temptations by exercising self-control helps you stay true to your long-term goals and values, reducing the self-criticism that often follows indulgence. Imagine returning home after a long day. The temptation to mindlessly consume junk food or binge-watch television can be strong. However, practicing self-control by opting for a healthy meal or engaging in a calming activity like reading can lead to feelings of accomplishment and peace rather than regret and guilt. Reflect on these scenarios. How often do you find yourself at the mercy of your impulses? And when you do manage to exercise self-control, how does it affect your state of mind? These reflections highlight the profound impact self-control can have on your inner tranquility. It teaches us that while we cannot control the world around us, we can control how we engage with it, choosing peace over chaos. Incorporating self-control into your daily life can start with small steps. Pause before reacting, count to 10 when feeling overwhelmed, and remind yourself of your bigger goals and values. These practices ground you in moments of potential chaos, helping cultivate a habit of self-mastery. Ultimately, self-control is the key that unlocks the door to inner peace. It allows you to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and composure, reducing the power of the inner critic and reinforcing your sense of self-worth. As you embark on this journey guided by Stoic teachings, remember that self-control is not about restriction but about choosing freedom and peace over impulsive chaos. By mastering yourself, you align your actions with your values, creating a life of tranquility and purpose. Have you ever paused to consider the benefits of self-reflection in your journey toward personal growth and clarity? In a world that often moves too fast, taking time to reflect can be incredibly grounding. One powerful tool that Stoics have long advocated for cultivating this practice is journaling. By putting pen to paper, we can explore our thoughts and emotions, unraveling the complexities of our inner world. But how exactly does journaling aid in organizing and understanding our critical thoughts? Journaling, at its core, allows us to step back and observe our minds from a distance. It's like having a quiet conversation with yourself, where the noise of daily life is stripped away, leaving only the essence of your thoughts and feelings. Through regular journaling, we create a structured space to process emotions, identify patterns, and gain insights into our behavior. This practice helps transform vague, overwhelming thoughts into clear, manageable insights, providing a roadmap for personal development and self-acceptance. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most revered Stoic philosophers, often engaged in journaling as a form of reflection. In his meditations, he writes, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if thou wilt ever dig." This poignant quote captures the essence of reflection, urging us to look inward for wisdom and understanding. By journaling, we embark on this inward journey, digging deep into our psyche to uncover the wellspring of insights that lie within. Consider the daily habit of setting aside 10 to 15 minutes each morning or evening to journal. Start by noting down key thoughts, emotions, or events from your day. You might choose to write about a specific challenge you faced and how you reacted, or perhaps reflect on moments of joy and gratitude. Over time, this practice can reveal recurring themes in your thoughts and behaviors, offering a clearer picture of your inner landscape. For instance, you might notice that certain situations consistently trigger self-critical thoughts, allowing you to address them with greater awareness and intention. Another effective journaling technique is to pose questions to yourself and then write freely in response. Questions like, "What am I grateful for today?" Or, "What did I learn from a particular experience?" can guide your reflections, helping you examine your life with a Stoic lens. This approach encourages deeper introspection, turning your journal into a tool for growth rather than merely a record of daily events. To enhance your journaling practice, consider incorporating Stoic principles directly into your reflections. ask yourself how you are applying Stoic teachings in your life, or write about instances where you succeeded or struggled to maintain control over your reactions. This not only reinforces your understanding of Stoicism, but also strengthens your commitment to personal growth. Now, I invite you to start or refine your journaling practice. Whether you're a seasoned journaler or new to the concept, approach it with an open mind and a commitment to self-exploration. Begin by choosing a quiet time and space, free from distractions, and let your thoughts flow naturally onto the page. Remember, there are no rules in journaling. It's a personal endeavor designed to meet your unique needs. Journaling, as embraced by the Stoics, is not just a reflection of the past but a preparation for the future, helping you build resilience and clarity. Through this practice, you create a dialogue with yourself, offering empathy and understanding, and in doing so, you quiet the inner critic and pave the way for a more mindful, fulfilled life. Let journaling be your guide as you explore the depths of your mind and embrace the journey toward a more harmonious existence. As we wrap up our exploration of Stoic strategies to silence the inner critic and boost self-esteem, let's recap the key principles that can transform our inner dialogue and enhance personal well-being. At the heart of Stoicism lies the practice of cognitive detachment. By learning to observe our thoughts without immediate judgment, we distance ourselves from the automatic negative feedback loop that the inner critic thrives on. This gives us the space to respond with reason and calm rather than reflexive self-criticism. Next, we considered resilience, the capacity to bounce back from life's challenges with strength and clarity. The Stoics remind us that setbacks are not failures but opportunities for growth and learning. By cultivating resilience, we transform potential sources of self-doubt into powerful experiences of self-discovery and confidence building. Gratitude also plays a pivotal role in the Stoic approach. Through the practice of gratitude, we shift our focus from what is lacking in our lives to what is abundant. This simple yet profound change in perspective helps to quiet the inner critic, which often preys on feelings of inadequacy and scarcity, by reminding us of the richness and fullness of our lives. Furthermore, the importance of mindfulness and self-control cannot be overstated. By living in the present and exercising control over our reactions, we ground ourselves in reality, breaking free from the anxieties and regrets that fuel self-criticism. These practices empower us to live more intentionally, aligning our actions with our values. And finally, the practice of journaling serves as a powerful tool for self-reflection and clarity. By engaging in regular reflection, we gain insight into our thoughts and behaviors, cultivating a deeper understanding of ourselves that fosters self-acceptance and growth. As we conclude, let's draw inspiration from a final Stoic quote to encapsulate our journey. Waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. These words from Marcus Aurelius remind us to shift from contemplation to action, urging us to embody the principles we've explored and live in alignment with our highest values. So, how can these Stoic principles be applied to your daily life? Reflect on their relevance and potential impact, and consider where you can begin to incorporate them. Whether it's starting a gratitude journal, practicing mindfulness, or applying cognitive detachment in challenging situations, each step you take brings you closer to silencing your inner critic and embracing your true self. Before we part, I invite you to join our community. Share your experiences and insights in the comments below. How have these Stoic strategies influenced your perception of self-esteem and personal growth? If you found value in this journey, consider subscribing to our channel for more explorations of wisdom and self-discovery. Together, we can create a supportive space for reflection, learning, and growth. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Stoicism and self-esteem. Remember, the path to self-acceptance is ongoing, and each moment offers an opportunity for growth. Embrace the journey with an open heart, guided by the enduring wisdom of the Stoics.